Hello again. There really is something wonderfully nostalgic about hearing this call for the return of national service. Throughout the 1960s, one would often hear older people and reactionaries demand that we brought back national service. It seemed such a good idea to deal with all those mods and rockers and beatniks hanging round the streets. There was never the remotest chance of it happening, of course, which is why it could be clamoured for with such enthusiasm. It was just one of those meaningless cries like "bring back the cat." Now, Rishi Sunak has evidently been told by some fool that such demands are still being made today, and that by agreeing to them, he will be appealing to all those true blue conservatives whom he has alienated since becoming Prime Minister. Whatever one's views on the desirability or otherwise of national service, it must be obvious to anybody that this is something which would never ever get off the ground. Can there really be people who don't still remember the poll tax riots in London and the widespread refusal to cooperate with what was seen as an unjust system and a wrong law? How many 18-year-olds realistically do viewers think would actually turn up at army bases to serve in the armed forces? Has Sunak really got no idea at all of what the mood of young people is like these days? What will we be doing? Sending the military police round to people's homes to hunt down the deserters? That'll go down well with the average voter, having the red caps forcing their teenage children into hiding or driving them into exile abroad. And will it only be British 18-year-olds? What about all the hundreds of thousands of asylum seekers and their families and foreigners living in this country? Will it just be the British 18-year-olds who are whisked off for national service? But wait, they will, of course, instead be able to work in the National Health Service for a year without pay, according to this new scheme. Is the person who thought up all this business completely raving mad, do you think? Hands up all those watching this who would wish to see hundreds of thousands of surly, disaffected and mutinous teenagers working in their local hospital and hating what they are doing. Is that really going to improve the NHS in any way? I have my doubts. I suppose that the virtue of this scheme really is that there's not the remotest chance of it being implemented. But even for the most useless government for decades, it's a pretty bizarre thing to come up with. In the description to this video, I give a link to a news item outlining what's being proposed.